G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video, and this is another installment to the Lewis Hamilton DLC package that was introduced in Gran Turismo Sport a while ago. Have a look in the description for any information about that. This is the Monza one. It's actually the 6th track, and it was actually the first one that I beat. I beat his time by like 6 thousandths of a second, but unfortunately I was not recording the footage and I did not save the replay, so I had no choice but to go back and try and do it again, and this is it now. Following the format of this series here, I'm going to do a lap in full speed. I'm going to replay the lap in like half speed. So I think it's 0.4 or something is what I chose in the end for some reason, and then we play the lap back in full speed again. It's the same lap shown 3 times, by the way. Yeah, so we're using the Mercedes GT3 car using 100/100 non-BoP, and the timer delta just above the rev gauge, that's in reference to Lewis Hamilton's lap. Now I will say I start the lap 0.1 seconds behind. You can offset the ghost. I wanted to do that so that I could get a bit of a feel, I could watch him and follow what he does, because he's obviously extremely quick, being the something like 6-time Formula 1 world champion, something like that. But the track Monza, the 11-turn cathedral of speed situated in Italy, pretty much, it's probably one of the easier tracks to nail. Probably why, probably why I beat this one first. I also heard it was one of the easiest because you get a massive run on him at the start. We'll see that momentarily. So across the line here, this is the first time you're going to see a 1:46.816. His time was a 1:46.972, so I beat him quite significantly, nearly 2 tenths, like 1.5 tenths or something. Of course, that's Diamond. So we'll see. We'll have a look at the slowdown lap. We'll break down exactly what I did: braking points, turn-in points, track limits, that kind of thing, and pretty much the line you want to take, because there are some points on the track where you can kind of abuse track limits and don't really get penalised for it, and also there's points on the track where Lewis Hamilton doesn't quite take the correct line you want to. Of course, he'll take the lines that he feels he takes in Formula 1, or, someone that plays the game regularly will take the lines that they know that works around the track. Coming into the first chicane, you're braking just dead before the 150 metre board, and you want to go down rhythmically into first gear. Half the car over each of the curbs there, and you want to sort of roll the car through the second part and begin to get onto the power just on the apex, and then you want to point out towards the exit. You see how close I am to the edge of the track here. I'm right on the edge of that curb, and yes, of course, there were hours and hours of practice gone into this. Now here, you can't see because I'm ahead of the ghost at this point, or I'm close enough to the ghost that he disappears. Lewis Hamilton's way over on the left-hand side of the track. You got to stay on the right, in the game at least. You want to minimise distance as well. And you see I begin to gain on him. I'm nearly a tenth up at this point here. This is turn 3, Curva Grande. And then we'll round out towards the second chicane anyway. What I was saying about braking before, because you're braking as late as possible, you want to get maximum engine braking. So you're rhythmically changing down the gears to get the maximum amount of stoppage from each gear. Braking just on that little dirt road on the outside of the turn here into second gear for this chicane. It's a little bit more open. Absolutely abuse the first chicane. Little burst of power to get some rotation, and then we're straight back onto the power after the second apex of the second chicane, known as Seconda Variante. Lesmos are next. These are crucial really, because you can go really wide on the exit, and you don't want to do that. Braking on the 50 metre board down into third gear, and it's quite a late apex this time. I had a really bad habit of absolutely mashing the power and understeering off wide, but I managed to get it perfect this time. You see how close I am to the edge there. Curb the rumble strip along the centre of my car. Don't want to touch the gravel. Coming into the Lesmo 2 just before the 50, back down into third gear again, sliding over the apex. 2 wheels over that, about half the car up onto the curb, and then on the exit once again the rumble strip down the centre of my car. Next is the Seraglio straight. It's a straight line really, so keep it flat out. This car now, I think the top times have quite a significant short shift, not Toyota Supra level short shift, but a little bit of a short shift. But I was just touching the not the limiter really, where it begins to flash blue along the bottom. I was just touching it and then changed gear, and I felt that like that was comfortable for me, so that's what I decided to choose. We'll come into Ascari now. There's another dirt road on the outside, braking just onto that into third gear this time. So 3 chicanes, first, second, third gear respectively. Slide it over, about half the car up onto that curb, and then once again on the second apex, just feathering the throttle. I want to be over there on the right hand side in order to get the second or the third part of Ascari flat out. Because it leads onto a straight, I want to get a good run out of Ascari, so I sacrifice turn 9 to get a flat out run through turn 10. You don't want to end up wide through turn 10. You do not want to be touching the grass or out way off the track. You don't want to be doing that. You could also probably get yourself a penalty. You see at this point, 1.5 tenths is what I'm trying to say. 1.5 tenths up on Lewis Hamilton this time. And I will say, I knew I was up at this point, so maybe don't take Parabolica as well as I could have, but the aim was to beat his time, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Coming into Parabolica, braking right on the 100-meter board, and then down into third gear. Keep it well towards the inside, and I actually get onto the power a little bit too early. You see, I was going to understeer off there, but I managed to find a good acceleration point, and I bring it right back. Lewis Hamilton stays out wide and rides that curb on the exit there, way over on the left-hand side of the track. You want to keep it to the right-hand side of the track because the finish line is so close to where the pit entry is. You can run over all of this green, go outside of track limits, and you cross the line while you're outside of track limits. So I'm pretty sure that if you went back onto the track, the game would then calculate a penalty. But because I was off the track when I finished, the game did not have time to calculate a penalty. Top times were doing that, and maybe it isn't the cleanest way to do it, but that's how I did it. That's how I beat the time. I could probably beat the time staying within track limits, but that's what I chose to do. Get used to it. I got diamond, so, that's all I really care about, really. But we'll go for another full speed lap now. We'll just consolidate, braking on the 150-meter board rhythmically down into first gear, getting maximum engine braking from each downshift, and then we got a very quick direction change throughout turn 1 and 2. On the exit of that first chicane, ride that curb as close to the right-hand side as possible. Do not touch the gravel, and then turn 3. You want to minimise distance here, so keep it way over onto the right-hand side. And of course, the entry for the next chicane, you start on the right-hand side as well. So you do get quite a significant gain from keeping it to the right. Braking on the dirt road on the entry there into second gear, sliding and absolutely abusing the first chicane, leaping over the sausage on the second chicane. You do not want to go over that chicane too aggressively, and then coming into Lesmo 1, braking on the 50-meter board down into third gear, quite a late apex, and use a lot of that runoff on the exit just before the 50 for Lesmo 2. Half the car up onto that apex curb there, and then once again rumble strip down the centre of the car on the exit. Lesmo 2, now Seraglio straight, you just take your classic racing line through there. I think that does count as a corner, Seraglio, that little kink, but I don't count it. Ascari now, dirt road on the entry, once again down into third gear, half the car over that first apex, and we feather the throttle through turn 9, so we get a flat out run through turn 10. We just touch that curb on the exit there. You could probably, take a little bit more speed on the exit, but, this was my lap, this is what I did. Coming into Parabolica now, we'll come up to the braking boards shortly. 100-meter board exactly down into third gear, and we want to keep it quite tight towards that curbing until it ends. We actually end up trailing out a little bit early, get onto the power and understeering a little bit too much, but it's not to worry because I was quite significantly up, so I could afford to lose a little bit of time there, and we just, make use of that little bit of extra road on the outside of that white line. And that's a diamond lap, a 146.816, beating Lewis Hamilton's 146.972. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you can use this on your road to beating Lewis Hamilton. Like I said, there's a playlist of all my current ones. Like I said previously in my the Dragon Trail, the first one. I'm only going to be making these episodes if I beat his time. So you may not see all of them. You might see all of them. Who knows? Depends how much patience I have, really. But that's going to be the end of this one. I do hope you enjoyed. I do hope you found that helpful. Hit that like button, really, if you did enjoy the video, and do hit subscribe if you'd like to see more episodes of this as they come out, as well as my other conventional videos and pure races. That's going to be the end of this one today, and that means that is it from me. So once again, I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.